this is a very short webinar on introduction to machine learning and data science. So what we are going to be discussing in this session is what do you actually mean by data science and machine learning, right? So what does a data scientist is responsible for, and what do you mean by machine learning? Why do we even have machine learning, right? So let's go through the agenda of today's meeting. This is a very short agenda, wherein we will try to understand the details of machine learning. What are the applications of machine learning, which you may not even realize that you are using. You're having that application of machine learning, right? We'll also try to see what are the real life case studies, right? And how do you proceed with machine learning when it comes to the industry? How do you implement machine learning into your projects? So before moving on to the demo session, I would like to briefly and quickly introduce myself. I have over 9 years of experience, and I'm a certified data scientist, and I'm working in one of the big fours as a lead assistant manager. And I'm leading a team of machine learning and NLP here, artificial intelligence decision scientist, right? So for the last 5 years, I've been working in machine learning, and I have dealt with clients from banking giants and healthcare, telecom industry. So I have huge experience in dealing with multiple domains in clients, right? So first of all, before I even go to the technicals of machine learning, let's quickly see uh, these are the real life examples of machine learning. So as you can clearly see, and even some of you might have experienced this as well. If you go to Amazon, and if you add any product, and at the bottom of the page on Amazon is automatically going to recommend some of the similar products to you. Now here in this snippet, right, a user might have added a healthcare related, a gym related product like whey protein or any product. So Amazon is very intelligent enough, it's very intelligent that they have been recommended products like creatine and all these gym related products. So the user might be interested in purchasing any of these products again, right? So why do we have this such example here? Because it is going to help Amazon earn more revenue. So at one place, when the user wanted to purchase only protein, now he will end up buying either one of these products as well. So it is helping Amazon to create more revenues, right? Similarly, on Facebook, if you have any contacts added into your phone, so Facebook, what it will do, Facebook will automatically try to recommend that person as a friend suggestion, right? For example, if you recently added your DTH wala, or your cable guy, so you will be surprised to see after 2 or 3 days Facebook is recommending him as a friend suggestion, right? So this is again nothing but the example of artificial intelligence. And coming down here, as you can see, let's say you open your YouTube application, and you are fond of cricket or any specific topic. Let's say you are very much interested in cricket, or you are very much interested in WWE. So what YouTube will do, YouTube will try to understand that this particular guy is very much interested in WWE videos or cricket related videos. So the next time when you open up your YouTube video, right, so YouTube will automatically recommend you some videos, right? See, as you can see, these are related and recommended videos by YouTube. So all these are examples of machine learning, which you all might have experienced in your day-to-day life, right? So let's quickly go through the next slide here. So now we will come to the real meaning of machine learning. What is machine learning? See guys, when I talk about artificial intelligence or machine learning, what do we mean by this? So as I was mentioning that whenever we talk about machine learning, see guys, there are two terms, related two terms in this: machine and then learning. You're actually making machines to learn, right? You are actually making machines to learn. So we as human beings, we are intelligent, we have intelligence level, even animals. So to sum it up, like all the human living beings have intelligence, but non-living beings do not have intelligence in them. They cannot think on their own. So similarly, same goes for machines as well. So machine cannot think at all. When I talk about a computer, we you generally say that a computer is a very intelligent and very fast machine, but it cannot do anything until and unless you instruct the computer to do something. For example, if you type 2 plus 3 is equal to what, then it will give you the result 5. Or if you try to type google.com, then only it will give you the results. So machine can never do anything until unless you instruct them, right? You give orders, you need to give orders the machine to do something. So when I say machine learning means I'm making my machine to learn something, right? And once it learns, right, you can always get the results in the future at any time. Now let's understand this with a very easy example. Let's suppose you are in your college, right, attending BCom, B Pharma, or BTech, B whatever. So your teacher will give you some trainings, in C, C++, Java, or AutoCAD, whatever, depending on the subjects or trade you have. So once they train you, you can always perform in the exams, or you can even join a company and start with your job. Basically, you need to have a one-time training. So this is nothing but machine learning, right? You are actually making your machines to learn automatically, so that again and again you need not program it, right? You need not program it, because whenever you open the computer, right, whenever you open your computer or any device, you need to continuously give them instructions. Hey Google, I want to do this. Okay, tell me the cricket score. So every time whatever you are typing in, whatever you are requesting, the computer returns the result back to you. But a machine learning is not such a like that. A machine learning is a science, right, where you train your machine so that next time whenever you want the machine to return a result to you, you will automatically get the results without even explicitly programmed. Now I will tell you why do you need machine learning. So for this we'll have to go back to some year back. Now let me quickly open my notepad so that I can draw some diagrams and explain it to you really well. Earlier, you might have heard of many banks: HDFC, Citi, SBI. So let us take an example of HDFC Bank, right? So whenever you go to their homepage, I'm talking about 10 to 15 years back, guys, right? So whenever you used to visit HDFC Bank, and let's say you want to have a personal loan, you want to apply for a personal loan. So let's suppose this is their hdfc.com, right? This is their homepage. So what you used to find, there is like apply for a personal loan, apply for a home loan, right, apply for a credit card, etc, etc. So you will click on this particular button where it says apply for a personal loan, and then it will take you to a new page wherein it will ask for your age, your qualification, right, your total experience, are you married or not, do you own a home or rent a home. So then likewise we will enter all your details in here, and finally you will click the submit button, right? So this is one case. Immediately after clicking the submit button, you will have the result. Okay, you are eligible for the personal loan or not. So this is the first case, right? And in olden days, guys, 10 to 15 years back, this was not the case at all. You were supposed to submit all your hard copies of the documents, right? All your salary slips, your maybe your rent agreement, or your own documents, your date of birth certificates, maybe your birth certificates or 10th class mark sheets, and all the related documents you were supposed to submit. And say they were hundreds or even tens of documents, if not hundreds. They used to be tens of documents, and some bank executive used to come to your place to collect all these hard copies of the documents. They will go to the bank, and there were few people kept in the employed with the bank, who were supposed to go through all these documents manually. Now let's suppose there is a customer called Sanjeev. I'm just taking an example. Let's suppose there is a customer called Sanjeev. So the bank executive goes to Sanjeev's home and it collects approximately 10 documents. So now the bank executive will go to the bank and evaluate all these 10 documents manually. He will study the salary slips, right? He will study the let's say rent agreement and all those 10 documents. He will study manually, and then after studying, he will make a decision whether to grant him a personal loan or not. Okay, so this was such a pain, guys, right? Such a pain. I'm just taking an example of Sanjeev. Now imagine if there are hundreds, even thousands of customers who always apply for personal loans. Now how many employees will the bank keep to go through all these documents, right? So one is the bank needs to pay salary to them, one is time consumption, and another biggest issue with that method is human errors. As we are humans, we are always prone to error, guys. It may so happen that while evaluating the documents manually, he didn't check the documents properly, and by mistake he granted the loan. He said, okay sir, we can give this person a home loan or a personal loan. And what if he turns to be a fraudster in the future? The bank goes into loss, right? So human error is also a very big downfall of this manual method. Now now comes the machine learning to the rescue. The biggest advantage of machine learning is the automation. Let me quickly delete this. The biggest advantage of machine learning is the automation. What do I mean by automation? Automation is nothing but, guys, whatever you do, you need not do that manually again and again, again and again, again and again, right? Now for example, uh, I create a machine learning model. Now we will come through what is a machine learning model in just quite some time. Now for now, just understand one thing. Okay, so before even we go to that, now let's understand what is a machine learning, right? So if I ask you, how many runs Virat Kohli will score in his next match, guys? If I simply ask you how many runs will Virat Kohli score in his next match, so probably you will not be able to come to a proper answer, right? You will not be able to tell me accurate answer or near about accurate answer. But if I give you his last 5 innings, like 60, 65, 58, and let's say 72, and maybe 51, and then I ask you, okay guys, these are the 5 scores of Virat Kohli in his last match. Now tell me how many runs will he score in his next match, that is sixth match. Now what you will do, you are basically having access to this data. This is your historical data. All right, so now I will look at this historical data. Historical data means which have already been in the past, right? So I will look at these numbers. I will figure out, okay, more or less Virat Kohli has been scoring more than 50, approximately around 60. So to be on safer side, I'll say, okay, Virat Kohli will score, 60 run in his next match. So this is the simplest example of prediction, simplest example of prediction. Okay, so this is nothing but machine learning is. You basically get the data, you basically get the data, and this is the ML, machine learning. So think of it as a black box. Think of it as a black box. Okay, so your data comes in from here, and as an output you get prediction, right? You get the predictions. That's it. This is machine learning, nothing fancy, nothing complex. This is the best example of machine learning. Basically what I'm trying to do, with the help of my historical data, all these 5 scores, I have input all these 5 scores to my black box, to my machine learning model. I basically train my machine learning model. So the moment your data goes on to this black box, right, a lot of training is happening. Now what do I mean by training? Whenever you come through this particular term, machine, training a model means you are actually giving your system, you're giving the machine learning model the ability to think. It is trying to understand the patterns. Machine learning model training means trying to understand the pattern in the data. What is happening? So what could be the next number? Simple, that is nothing but the training. So once my machine learning model trains, I will get the prediction. Now again, if I input a new data, as I told you, machine learning, the biggest advantage of machine learning is automation. In the future, now you will have, once you had input this data, your model gets trained and you get the output. Now in the future, this scene will not be there. Okay, next time what you will do, you since now this model has been trained with the help of this previous data, your machine learning model is trained. In the future, if I give any new input, I should always get the output. Okay, let us take another great example. Let's say you have a data, as I was giving you the example of hdfc.com giving home loan or personal loan. We will take the same example. Let's suppose you have a data like this. Maybe customer ID, you have your salary, you have your age, you have education, okay? And then last me you have this fraud or not. So as I told you, machine learning always starts with historical data, right? So this is nothing but the historical data. Now HDFC came to you. You are working for Infosys. Let's suppose you are working for Infosys. HDFC went to Infosys and say, hey dude, I want you to give me a machine learning model for my bank application processing, because I do not want to spend a lot of time and I want to reduce the human error. I want my team to get the prediction right away. The moment they enter the details of a customer, it should give me the result whether this customer is eligible for a personal loan or not. So what Infosys will do? Infosys will ask HDFC, okay, we can do this for you. You need to give us your data. You need to give us your historical data. So all the data, the entire data point, customer records, whatever HDFC has, they will give it to Infosys, right? So HDFC has a record of all its customer, like customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There will be some salaries and there will be some age values. Let's suppose he is B Tech, and so on and so forth. And this, they will be a fraud. Means this particular customer was a fraud. This customer did a fraud transaction. This will be no fraud. Let's say again, this will be fraud, no fraud, fraud, and no fraud. Okay, likewise. So this is the data which HDFC will give to Infosys. What Infosys will do? They will, as I showed you in the previous figure, this is nothing but your historical data. This is your ML model. So Infosys will feed the historical data to this black box, this machine learning model. This machine learning model in this phase will get trained. And again, once I'm done with the training, I can always get the prediction. Now think it like this one. As I told you, machine learning is always about automation. Now the machine learning model is ready. Okay, the machine learning model is ready. So I will give this machine learning model to HDFC Bank. Okay, I will give this machine learning model to HDFC Bank. Now what HDFC will do? What HDFC will do? Let's suppose tomorrow, if a new customer applies for a personal loan on their website, right? Whatever, this is your hdfcbank.com, right? hdfcbank.com. So as I showed you previously, you will enter all your details and submit. So the moment you hit this submit button, at the background of this page, there is a machine learning model running. So the moment you click submit, the details of this customer, like age, salary, all the details, it will go to the machine learning model. This is your data, as I told you. This is the flow of this. The moment you hit enter, the data will go on like this. At the background in behind scenes, this model has already been trained and it will give you the prediction. Okay, boss, no. According to my training, you should not give this person a personal loan. He may be a fraud. Or, okay, you can give this a personal loan. He might not be a fraud. Right? So this is the advantage of having machine learning in today's date. It makes your life so easy. You might apply for a credit card also. Similarly, same thing goes on there as well. And also customer churn. We are definitely going to see a lot of real life use cases where the companies are working. They are implementing machine learning model. How they are using machine learning model, we will definitely try to understand. So going forward, we have seen this, right? Now, why do you need machine learning? The first thing is increase in the data generation. I just gave you a very small example, very beautiful example, that if there is only one customer detail, Mr. Sanjeev's documents, right? So it is very easy for the bank employees to evaluate those documents manually. But what if the bank suddenly gives its employees thousands or 10,000s of documents? Okay, evaluate these documents and tell me whether should all these customers be given home loan or not. So the more data you have, the more complex it gets, the more difficult it becomes for you to take the decision, right? And as you all know that in today's date, we have huge amount of data. Every single industry is generating data. Whether you browse your Google, you are generating the data. You are going and eating out at a restaurant, you are again generating a data, right? You are basically giving your detail. You are purchasing some clothes from Big Bazaar, or maybe LP or Allen Solly store. You are generating data, so you are actually generating a lot of data, right? So the more data you have at hand, the more difficult it becomes you to take decision. Improved decision making, what do I mean with this? As I told, humans are always prone to errors, but machines are not. If you train your machine learning model very well, you will always be able to get good decision, accurate decisions. Uncover patterns and trends in the data. Guys, you must be able to, you must be on this with me, that it's very difficult for a human being to look deeply into something and investigate properly. If I give you some complex data, or some huge data, you will not be able to go till depth of that particular thing. Maybe you can give me some top 5 or top 10 points about the data or anything, but you'll not be able to go very deep into this. Maybe our intelligence level is not that much in human beings. But machine learning, what machine can do, they can do wonders. They can do everything which a human being cannot, right? And solve complex problems. Again, machine learning is made to solve a lot of fancy problems, like you must have heard detection of cancer tumor cells, in diagnostic lab, all those hospitals oncology department. So the machine learning model will be, the system will be given, let's say, an x-ray, an x-ray of your tumor, and then automatically the result will be, yes, this particular person is having a cancer or not. Okay, so such complex problems can be solved by using machine learning. Great. Now let us understand applications of machine learning. Demand prediction. Now let's say you are a store owner of maybe merchandises, clothes, jeans and t-shirts and shirts, everything. Your customers are coming in, a lot of customers coming in. The footfall of your stores is very high. But what if you go out of stock, and continuously you cannot deny your customers, sorry sir, today we do not have this t-shirt, today we do not have enough stock available with us. Your customers will be frustrated, and you will lose, you will end up losing a lot of your customers. So again, this particular thing is very important in industry. You should always be ready to know how much demand do you have. Machine learning will definitely help you with this. Price formation. Now machine learning can also help you understand what could be the effective price. Now maybe all your competitors data you can gather, and then the machine learning model will help you understand this could be the better price, right? Merchandising, personalized offers, fraud detection. I told you that based on the historical data, the machine learning model will be trained And in future, whenever a new person comes in and applies for a let's say personal loan or a credit card, the result will be given to you that this person should be given a credit card or not, whether this person should be given a personal loan or not. Customer churn, a very very important crucial business problem the companies are facing. Let's talk about let's say Airtel. Let's say Airtel is having a lot of customers, but suddenly Jio comes in and they start offering the customers good offers. And this is a very real life example, guys. You must be you must realize this. Some time back, few years back, when Jio came in, they started giving very lucrative offers to the customers, right? We will give you these many GBs of free internet, these many free calls, STD calls, and everything. So slowly and slowly, Airtel customers started going out, right? Airtel customers started going out. So this is nothing but churn prediction. Churn, what do you mean by churn? Churn is an event when your customers leave your services and go to your competitors. Simple. This is nothing but churn. And why churn prediction is very important? Because if you do not prepare yourself in advance, if you will not know which customers are going to leave you, you will end up losing a lot of money. But let's say Airtel is smart. Airtel is having this machine learning model with them, right? They will come to know, okay, these are 10 of my customers who have recently shown, very less interest in my products. Let's say Mr. ABC, he used to recharge, Mr. ABC, he used to recharge his account with rupees 500 rupees. Now again, next month he started declining the recharge value. He recharged only with 300 rupees. Next month 200 rupees. So the Airtel, it is very important for Airtel to understand, maybe this guy is going to my competitors. Maybe he started using another telecom services. That is the reason he's not using my services anymore. So this is the example of customer churn, uh, churn prediction. Now how this will help Airtel? Let's say again, Mr. ABC, what Airtel will do, they will immediately call Mr. ABC and say, sir, we find that you are not using our services. Any problem, sir? And then he will say, no, I'm not liking your services. Geo is providing me very good offers. So you can give counter offers to Mr. ABC. You can say, sir, along with whatever Geo is offering you, we can offer these additional services to you. So you can actually retain your customers. Okay. And there is a very good saying in the industry: retaining the customers is more important than making new customers, right? Because if that person is coming to you, can always go back to where he came from in the future. Because if he left his previous service provider, he can again reject you in the future. So you should always aim for retaining the customers. Okay. Sentiment analysis, very very great example of machine learning. Now you are purchasing some products from Amazon, let's say a Sony headphone, and you will write feedbacks on Amazon or any social platform, right, in LinkedIn or Facebook, with those hashtags, hashtag Sony maybe. So what Sony will do, they will collect all the data, and they will try to understand what are my customer sentiments about my products. Are they happy about it? Are they not happy about it? If they are not happy about it, you need to probably look into your products. Where am I going wrong? Or what are the sentiments that my customers are giving about my products? Maybe the sound quality is not good. Okay, I can go ahead and check my product sound quality, and likewise. So knowing your customer sentiments is very important, right? And document work automation, again, the similar example of SDFC, right? This is the same example. Now the same slide goes a little bit towards different domains, right? Now, if I talk about finance and banking domain, these are the below applications where you can see all the finance and banking companies like HDFC Bank, American Express, Mastercard, all the banking and insurance industry, maybe your Bajaj, Aviva insurance, everything. So all that comes into finance and banking. Credit scoring. fraud detection, risk analysis, client analysis, trading exchange forecasting, right? Retail and e-commerce, as I gave you the example of demand forecasting, how much is the demand of my products, price optimization, should I you know reduce my products price or not in order to give a tough beat to my competitors, recommendations, right? Fraud detection, customer segmentation. So what is customer segmentation? Again, let's say you have different type of customers. Your company has different type of customers. Someone is earning 10,000 rupees salary, someone is earning 50,000 rupees salary, someone is having 1 lakh of salary, let's suppose. Not everyone will show interest at the same level, guys, right? So 10,000 salary, people will buy cheaper products, maybe they will not buy your products very often, and so on and so forth. So it's very important for you to categorize your customers, because you cannot send offers of 50,000 rupees, that purchase 50,000 rupees worth of products, you will get this much of discount. Such offers you cannot give to your customers who earn only 10,000 rupees. He will never show interest in your products, he will never convert. And accordingly, if there is someone who is earning 1 lakh rupees a month, that means he's your premium customer. You cannot send him very very cheap products, right? He will not show interest to your products. Maybe you should send him offers or information about products which are of his standards. So this is customer segmentation, segmenting your customers, very important use case in machine learning. So let's move ahead with these slides. This is types of machine learning, right? There are two types of machine learning. One is supervised, another one is unsupervised. As you can see in this diagram, in this picture, there is a teacher supervising the student. Means there is someone to help you. They will instruct you what you need to do and what you need to not to do. Similarly, in unsupervised, there is no one standing next to you. You are all on your own. There will be no one standing next to you to help you, to explain you things. So what do you mean by what does it mean for you in terms of machine learning? Let's understand this. So as I gave you the example of the HDFC Bank data, right? If I tell you you need to make a fraud detection model, right? Fraud detection model. And I told you that machine learning always starts with the previous data, historical data. There will be this particular column: fraud, ID, salary, age maybe, and then fraud. So if you want to understand, what could be the fraud detection model, in order for you to train your model, you must always have this historical fraud column. If you do not have this fraud column, how will I come to know that this particular customer was a fraud or not? What will I train my machine learning with, right? But if I have this fraud column, so I can tell my machine learning model, okay, boss, this particular customer was earning 20,000 salary, his age is 34, and he was a fraud. Likewise, 50,000 rupees and maybe 50 years of age, and he was not a fraud. So I can train my machine, I can tell my machine these are the data. So the machine learning model, what it will do, it will study this data. Okay, these are the records, he was not a fraud. These are the records, he was a fraud. So accordingly he will train itself. Accordingly it will train itself. And in the future, if you input any record, there is a customer who came to us asking for a personal loan. His records are 24 years of age and 20,000 of salary. Tell me, should I give him a loan or not? So according to your training, as per your training, you will just try to identify, okay, this is what I learned in my training from the data. Okay, so approximately 24 years of age, this kind of salary, no, you should not give him a loan, maybe he's a fraud. So this is the example of supervised machine learning. If someone supervises you, and what is it, who supervised us here? This is the column, the output column. You should always check in your data, guys. Whenever client gives you the work, whatever business problem you have, fraud detection, you should always check in the data whether I have this fraud column or not. Then only this is something which you will supervise you, right? Now let's take the example of unsupervised learning. What is unsupervised learning? There is a data. ID, age, salary, gender. That's it. I gave you this data and I do not have any business problem with me. I simply want you to tell me what can I do with this data. So when such is the situation with you, when your business problem is not clear, or if maybe let's say Amazon or Flipkart, if Flipkart comes to you, this is the data. I want you to segment my customers and help me understand what categories can I form with this data. So there is no column when I say categorize the data. When I tell you categorize the data, there is no column here called category top, middle, bottom, like no, there is no uh, variable as such, right? So when you do not have any such output variable of your interest, whatever you want to do, whatever problem you want to solve, if you do not have that particular column, then that is unsupervised learning, because there is no one to supervise you there. So what you can do, you can probably custom segment this data based on few factors. You can always go back to Flipkart and say, how do you want me to segment my segment your customers? Flipkart will tell you, you need to customer my data based on their spending behaviors. So now what you will do, you will go back to the data, you will try to understand, dig into this, you will train a model. Now out of this dirty data, entire data, maybe you can come up with few categories. These categories, maybe these are bronze category, these are, I'm just trying to give you an example, and platinum, or you know medium, high, very high kind of, where these customers are spending somewhere around 5,000 a month from Flipkart. These are the ones who spend 20,000, and these are the ones, very very high premium customers who spend more than 50,000 in your Flipkart website. So why this is very important, I just give you an example. Now what Flipkart will do, Flipkart will take the details of these bronze customers and will send them offers around their spending behavior. Now tell me one thing, if Flipkart sends an offer, okay dude, I have a offer for you, this is 50,000 rupees, you will get 10% off. So yeah, I mean, this particular customer is always spending only 5,000 rupees on Flipkart. Why would he spend 50,000 on your website? So you lost one customer. The moment he see your message, he will delete the message. But if you sent him a message of 2,000 rupees, buy 2,000 worth of t-shirts, you'll get one t-shirt free. So his capability is 5,000 rupees, and you send him an offer of 2,000. Immediately, what he will do, he might show interest on your website. He can try to redeem that coupon, and he will make a transaction on your website. So basically, you earned one customer, you earned a revenue, and likewise. So these platinum customers who spend more than 50,000, why would he be interested in some local brand t-shirt? He will not be interested because he never purchases such local brand t-shirts. You should probably send him offers of LP, maybe Van Heusen, expensive stuffs. So this is unsupervised learning, where there is nothing you can do about the data, no prediction, the fraud detection kind of thing. You can only segment your data, divide your data into groups, segment your data. That's it. This is unsupervised learning. Let's go back to the slide. Let's say this is a box, okay, and there are some objects means some balls, or some dusters kind of thing. So this is the data, and I'm giving you very, very easy example. Do not take this from technical point of view. This is nothing related to your, you know, Excel data or CSV data. No, it's a simple figure. You have a box and you have different shapes of data. Sorry, not data. Different shapes, circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. Everything unsupervised. Unsupervised means no one is supervising me. And what do you mean by supervising, guys? Let's understand this. Supervising means helping. Let's say Roshan gave me this data, right? And Roshan say, Roshan says, all I have with me is this data. That's it. I do not have anything else. As a data scientist, what I can do, I can, go back to Roshan with a statement. Roshan, what I feel, you have three categories of data points with you. One is the category of circles, one category is of triangles, and one category of squares. This is the pattern in your data, right? This was the pattern in your data. This is unsupervised because there was no variable in the data, right? I told you that there should always be a variable of your interest. And when I say variable of your interest means what you are trying to do, what are you trying to solve? So whatever you are trying to solve, is there a variable in your data which can actually help you achieve that? Is there a variable of such kind? If yes, then that's a supervised machine learning because there is someone to supervise you, someone to help you. And if there is no such variable, that's unsupervised variable. Now again, let me take you the example of customer churn. Okay, let's go back to our example. Let's say this is the data, and this data comes from Airtel. Okay, this is the Airtel data. What Airtel says, you are working for TCS. Okay, let's go step by step. You are working for TCS. Airtel comes to you, says, I want you to prepare a customer churn model. Now, I have already explained you the meaning of churn. Churn is nothing but when your customer goes away from you, right? So customer will say, I'm fed up of, my customers will leaving me. I'm losing a lot of revenue, a lot of money. My business is going down. I need to predict in advance who are the customers who can leave my services. And why is it important for Airtel to do this? Because let's suppose they find something, very something weird with Roshan. Roshan was a customer who used to spend, let's say, in his postpaid connection, almost 500 rupees. His bill used to get generated 500 rupees, 600 rupees. Okay. But suddenly, what Airtel finds, Roshan has started declining. In January, he was at 500, 600. In February, he came down to 400. In March, he came down to 300, and then slow and slowly he's coming down. So what Airtel will understand, maybe Roshan has started using Geo. Maybe Geo guys are offering him very good offers. So maybe by the time June or July comes, Roshan will be not our customer. So if this is the case, Airtel is losing one of the customers. In the future, they are losing the revenue. So hence Airtel came to you that I want you to prepare a machine learning model. Let's not talk about model. You might get confused. Model. I want you to give me a formula, a magical black box, a magic basically. I want you to give me something. If I feed this particular magical black box the details of a customer, let's say Sandeep, if I find something, serious about Sandeep, just like Roshan, again, Sandeep is not using my services. He's recharging very less. So if I give the details of my customer Sandeep, his age is this, his total recharge is this, his call minutes, call duration is this, his data usage is this much. Will he churn me or not? You just simply feed your data to your magical black box and it will say yes. right? ठीक है? All right. So this will be the result. That means your magical black box, your machine learning model will tell you Sanjeev is definitely going to leave you in the future. So what you will do, immediately Airtel will call Sandeep and they will try to impress him with lots and lots of offers. And it may so happen that Sandeep retains. He does not go back to Geo. He starts recharging Airtel with again the old usage. Maybe now his recharge, bill has started going up, maybe 400, 500, because you have already given him lots and lots of offers. Maybe his internet usage has gone up to 2 GB per day from 1 GB per day. So Airtel saved one customer. This was the business problem. So this was the business problem, and now coming back to where we started, supervised. What was my problem? To identify churn, right? And in my data there was this column churn, right? If churn was something that I was supposed to solve, and the data which I got from Airtel, my customer data, there is this column, there is this column churn, right? Because if I train my model, if I give you a training, if I give my model a training that this is the customer ID one and his age is 50, his maybe his internet usage was 200 minutes, he churned. And similarly all this customer did not churn, this customer did churn, and this customer did not churn. So this was the data, right? I actually told my model, if you get a customer like this, if you get a customer like him, whose age is approximately this, whose internet usage is approximately this, maybe he can churn. So you are actually trying to find a pattern, approximation, right? So you have to have this column of your interest. What is my interest? My interest is churn, because Airtel has asked me to solve the churn problem. So I have this churn column with me. Simple. And similarly, in unsupervised, I told you, you will not get any help. Where you will not get any help means you will not get any help from the data. All right. If I tell you, again, let's take the example of Flipkart. If Flipkart tells you, I want you to tell me, I'm trying to launch new products, right? I'm trying to launch new products, but I'm not sure whom should I target for which product. I have basically three price range. Okay, I have three price range, maybe less than 10,000, then less than between 10,000 to 20,000, and one is greater than 25,000. I'm launching three products. Okay, now I'm really not sure who will show interest to these products. As I gave you the example of salaried people, someone whose salary is less, he will be interested in such products. That product should fall into, within his budget, right? Medium can go with this product, and those who earn a lot of money, they do not mind spending more than 25,000. So you need to, you know, uh, custom segment your customers accordingly. Why that is important? Let me tell you. Again, I will give you a real life example. Let's say, let's say you are someone who earn 5,000 rupees a month. Okay. Flipkart, let's say you get a call from Flipkart. Sir, I have an offer for you. If you make a purchase of 20,000 rupees, you will be eligible for a 10% discount. What you will do, you will straight away hang up the call. You will disconnect the call. So just imagine how many calls Flipkart makes on daily basis. So this is a very costly affair, very, very costly. Calling up all the customers and without knowing whether this customer will be interested in our product or not. Without even knowing that, you are randomly picking up any customer number and you are calling them. It is incurring a lot of charge on you. The call prices, the monthly bills, whatever, that's very high. On the contrary, let's take this help of machine learning. If I know that these three are the categories, one is same this category, one is this category, and the third is this category. So what I will do, I will call all the customers who earn about 10,000 rupees, and I will give them the offer of 2,000 rupees. So maybe not out of, let's say there were 10 customers. So out of 10 customers, maybe I have converted five into subscribing to my product, right? So, and if you, let's say if you had called these customers, these 10 customers, for an offer of 20,000 rupees, they all would have rejected your call, they all would have disconnected your call. Ki yaar, my salary is only 5,000 rupees, how can I spend 20,000 rupees? So on one case you lost all your 10 customers, but now with the help of this business case, customer segmentation, unsupervised learning, you were able to at least convert five customers, right? So this was the business case, right? This was the business case. Flipkart wanted you to create three categories for your products, right? And in unsupervised learning, guys, client will always give you some indication that I am going to create three price brackets, so create three categories for me. Now business problem is clear. If business problem is clear, let us try to look at the data, how the data will look like. Now the data will look like something like this. Same age, salary, and no, we'll have the same data. But there's one trick here. This is the ID, customer ID maybe. This is age, gender, salary, right? This is the Flipkart data. And Flipkart asks you to create segments out of it. Now tell me one thing. What do you observe in this data? As in the previous example, when I told you in the supervised training, supervised machine learning, when there is a column of your interest supervising you, helping you do not have such variable in here. What is my business problem? My business problem is to segment the customer, right? Segment the customer. I wanted to create three customer, right? Segment one, or let's give this some meaningful names. Low, low budget, medium budget, high budget customers. So do you have such variable here in this data which tells you this particular customer is a low budget customer? This, no, right? You do not have such variable here. All you have is the customer's age, customer ID, customer's gender, and customer salary. You do not have any data which can tell you this customer is your low, this customer is your medium, or this customer is high budget customer. You do not have any such variable. Hence, if you do not have any such column in your data, column of your interest, this is very catching statement, column of your interest. My interest is segmenting my customers, those three brackets categories. I do not have any such column. That is your unsupervised technique. So again, you will learn in the future how can you achieve this. So I will simply simply pass this data, this entire data to my ML model. As a result, whatever I will get three categories. Category maybe one, category two, whatever, right? So I'll get these three categories. This is your unsupervised learning, guys. Nothing fancy. Now, by now we already have understood a lot of aspects in machine learning. This is the process of machine learning, and this is exactly what I have been explaining to you. This is your data. You feed your data to this machine. You're training the machine. Training the machining means you're see. Can you see this magnifying glass? Some charts here means someone is investigating. Someone is investigating. Your machine is trying to understand the pattern in your data, understand the pattern, understand the data better. It's investigating the data here. And once it gets the training, your machine learning model is ready. And once the machine learning is model is ready, you can always get the future outcomes. This is very simple flow of machine learning.
right? I hope this is clear. Let's move ahead. Real life case studies. Again, we just discussed this thing, right? Client retention. It is very important. Now, at a small, again, this goes back to our first requirement of why machine learning, because huge data. Now, there is a small shop. Let's say there is a very, very small shop in a village. So that village doesn't have so many people on a daily basis. Maybe only 50, people are coming to the shop to buy, some domestic items. So he can always, remember these customers, and they can tell you, okay, take 20% discount, whatever. But in a large supermarket, again, the data gets huge. How many times you will remember, whom you all remember? If you go to a big bazaar, I am definitely sure nobody would have recognized you, that you are going there 1000th time or 2000th time. Who knows? There you are not going to get that kind of service, right? So the moment you get huge data, the problem gets worse. Similarly, fraud detection. The banking institution. See, guys, I told you, right? These are the kind of data that you'll have: ID, name, age, something, something, something. And maybe this is this last column is your fraud problem. And maybe this title is fraud. That means this bank manager is very worried of his fraud transactions. He will come to you. In the past 6 months, already I have lost 1 crore rupees because of my fraudster. He will come to you. Can you help me? As a data scientist, you will say, yes, I can help you. I can make a fraud detection model for you, so that next time onwards, whenever someone comes to you for a personal loan or a credit card or any type of loan, home loan, you can take a better decision whether should that person be given loan or not, right? So that data scientist, maybe you, will ask the bank manager, come on, give me your historical data. So this is the kind of data that the bank manager will give to you. Okay, in the past 6 months, whosoever came to me, this is the record of them: ID, name, age, salary, spouse, married, yes or no, gender. And then last column will be fraud. So what you will do, you will feed that data from the bank manager to this model. It will go to the next level. Your machine learning model will do some investigation. Okay, so this particular customer, the ID 001, this customer, his age was this, his salary was this, he was married, and he was not a fraud. Okay, again, John 35, he was married, he had 2 kids, maybe he had a car, he was a fraud. So likewise, your machine learning model will go through each and every record. He will train itself. He will train himself properly. He will build a model so that next time, whenever a new person comes to the bank manager, sir, I want a loan, the bank manager will automatically feed his details into the system. And as a result, you will get, the bank manager will get the result. No, this is a fraudster. Maybe, with whatever I have trained myself, these characteristics, these traits, the age value, maybe he's 28 years of age, right? And that he's not that senior, he's kind of, a pretty young age. So his salary is not that much. So maybe he's a fraud. So it tries to predict, based on the pattern of the historical data. Right, guys? So I think we have already finished the slides. These are the curriculum of the course. Basically, it requires you to know some of the programming languages. Python is the most important when it comes to machine learning, because you will not be required to write those number of lines of code, right? If you want to achieve something, if you go to any other programming language, you would have written 10 lines of code to prepare a model. But with the help of Python, you can get it done in only 2 lines, right? So Python, and then some sort of statistics will be required, descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, right? Statistics is also very important for you to know. And then again, as we have already understood what do you mean by machine learning models, like linear regression, logistic, decision tree, k nearest neighbor, support vector machines, random forest, and XGBoost, So these are all example of supervised machine learning. And then comes your unsupervised machine learning, wherein I told you all you can do is categorize the customers, segment, unsupervised techniques. This is the you will hear this or this is also very famous algorithms. K means these can real life company, you are going to get huge data, 100 columns, 300 columns. So not every algorithm is capable of handling that kind of huge data, right? So accordingly there are two important algorithms, k-means and the scan. And then additional techniques which you a data scientist must know is these additional algorithms. These are some of the evaluation metrics, cross validation, and then AUC, what do you mean by overfitting and underfitting? So these are some technical jargons that as a data scientist you all must know. And then in real life projects, guys, these are the pipelines of the machine learning. Step in the ML flow was the data, right? So there is multiple ways, multiple sources of data that can be in your project. Maybe you can get the data from the, let's quickly, okay, what are the languages for practice ML and which among them should be preferred. So I think we have pretty much finished with the presentation, guys. We have already looked at almost all everything in machine learning, the contents and everything. That's the end of the presentation.